Okay, so this is a pretty good view to see how the alignment is off on the back, and it's not just one side, it's both. So we are going to start there and work our way, obviously, because if the frame is bent, there's no reason to work on this thing any further, unfortunately. Fingers crossed it isn't. These things are made to take a beating. We'll just see what it has left. I did some shots in the beginning of this rack, but look at this thing. There's a cross member in here. This is all bunged up. This weld is actually completely cracked. Just the tree mangled the front of it. And here's our front bumper. Comes down and it actually is kinked right here, which is very surprising. I would have thought that maybe the bolt would shear first. But honestly, you know, as far as A-arms and stuff goes, the steering on this thing actually seems to be pretty straight. The rear end is definitely what we're worried about the most. This brake lever, I don't know how this happened, but we're gonna have to get a new one on here because that is completely bunged up. There's a little bit of everything going on this machine, and I don't know how it all happened at once, but I just don't want to really ask too many questions, and I want to get this thing all fixed up for Grandpa because he doesn't use it a lot, but when he does use it, it's a really nice wheeler. It just has had a unfortunate situation here. Man, this thing is mangled. Look at this thing. Oh man, you see the angle on it? This radiator, it's just a piece of kind of rubbery plastic on the top, but the reason why it's pushed in so far here is on the bottom there's a tab here which has a bolt and a tab here, and this tab is pushed all the way forward, whereas that one's where it should be. So that is that. This here is for the rack. It got bent a little bit, but nothing terrible. Okay everyone, so I got this rear chassis off, and that is definitely the problem. You can just look at it and see it's completely out of square. So I was looking on eBay and I found a used one, and just so happened that the person lives about a little over an hour from where I am, so we're gonna drive over there and pick it up. It's just this frame portion here, but these are out of whack, and then this particular one is bent That one looks pretty good. So this thing I believe to be tweaked, so we're gonna get that, and then if that fixes the rear tires, from there we're going to continue on. But let's go pick up that other rear chassis. Alright, off we go. Really nice guy. Big old thing full of boxes there. I think this is probably what he does for a living. But he was asking 160, and I guess because we didn't have to ship it, he gave it to me for 130. So pretty good deal. It's pretty good. That's definitely the cheapest rear chassis I could have got. Alright, off we go. Okay, this evening we're going to be working on getting everything transferred from this old bent up rear chassis to the new one. So you can see even this one just sitting here. You can kind of tell just how out of whack it is compared to that one. When you see that one there and then you see this one, you can tell. So what we have to do is essentially the A-arms all look good on the suspension. The shocks are good, they don't look bent. You know, we got to get this whole rear differential out and the trailer hitch off. Get it all transferred over and slap it on this four-wheeler and put the tires on it, because that is my goal tonight. I want to see if this fixes it. Look at that. Guess it wasn't made for that, huh? There we go. I think that looks about right. Okay, so I ordered a set of upper and lower control arms because the rear chassis looks real good and the tire on this side looks nice and straight, but for whatever reason this one does not. So we're going to see if putting some control arms in here are going to fix our issue. So let's remove the tire, remove the 4 bolts, and get these ones installed and see if that fixes our issue. This is the side in question. So you can see it still looks a little towed out. And if we look at this one, it looks really straight. So a lot of people are wondering what happened with this machine. And the story goes, Sarah had a group of her friends up at Grandpa's cabin. One of the guys decided he was going to go on a little joyride on the four-wheeler. when he did, supposedly there was a vehicle that was coming around one of the corners up there, and it's a pretty sharp corner. So he was going too fast to slow down, and he jumped off and ditched the four-wheeler, and the four-wheeler proceeded to drive probably pretty fast into a tree. Now, we didn't know what curve or anything like that this had happened on, except for the one day I got out of the deer stand and I was talking with my wife, and it just so happened as I'm on the phone, I'm walking around the little turn that's there, and I found this. This is the cap that fits into the center of the tire to keep dust off of this hub. I found that. So that then caused me to take a little peek around at the trees that were there, and I seen the damage that had happened. So I took some pictures, and I'll show them to you right now, but you can see where the rack hit the one tree, and what I'm assuming is this tire scraped kind of the bottom of the other tree to the left. And then if you look to the right, there's another tree, and it has a little mark on it, and I believe that tree, I believe when it hit the left side, the four-wheeler swung around and smacked that tree, causing these this rear end issue, is my best bet. So luckily the guy was fine. I'm actually kind of thankful that he ditched the four-wheeler here, because just judging by how it looks, I think he could have died, which would not have been a very good thing. And he lucked out there, but regardless, my grandpa's been in contact with him since I started working on this, and it sounds like he is going to be footing the bill, luckily. So that's... There it is. That is exactly what we needed. Awesome. Alright everyone, so we got that rear chassis all buttoned up. It's looking real nice. Talked with my dad. I did a build sheet of everything that this machine needs, and it came out to about $1,800. He talked with me. I believe he probably talked with Grandpa. Came to the conclusion that we were going, a huge cost of that, which was like probably $800, was new plastics. And really, for the amount that this four-wheeler is driven, new plastics just didn't seem cost-effective or worth it, especially being that we can't find the same color. This black with metallic flake looks really nice, and for this machine to be red or camo, it just wouldn't be the same. So, with that being said, we are going to fiberglass up this front fenders here. Definitely salvageable, in my opinion, and it's gonna, need a new rack and stuff like that. But just to show you guys the low miles, 1,951 miles on here, and what else we got? Doesn't I was hoping for hours. There it is, 283.9 hours. I know that's relatively low miles for a four-wheeler, especially being this is a 2005. My grandfather bought it new, and I bet my dad and I, borrowing this machine growing up and stuff, I bet we put on a majority of those miles. Grandpa maybe puts on 10 miles a year. I don't think he uses this more than going and checking on his deer stands in the fall. So, there's a little bit of like cost analysis in there too. So that's where we're at. Next video, we're going to be working on these plastics, ordering some more parts. We got this radiator here that needs to be replaced, brake lever, got to do an oil change and all that stuff. So we got parts that are coming, and I'll be putting on here, but stay tuned. hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.